on the show after 8 o'clock. Right now, though, Dorset's home to thousands of ex-servicemen and women from a long list of wars, and I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of everyone when I say what huge respect they deserve for their efforts servicing our country. But one thing that's always crossed my mind is what must it be like for them to come home and settle back into so-called normal life? Well, last year, a resident in Weymouth set up a veterans club in order to help unite ex-personnel. He is Charles Gills. Sorry, hang on a minute. I see this is going to confuse the life out of me. So Charles Gillis, excellent. And we've also got Cyril Gill with me in the studio. So neither of you are soft G's, just for the okay. So Charles Gillis set up the Dorset Veterans Breakfast Club, and Cyril Gill served in the Second World War and is one of the last survivors of the Bulge in 1944. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Very good to see you, Charles. I'm going to start with you. Just tell me a little bit about what the drive was to set up the Dorset Veterans Breakfast Club.
I picked it up on Facebook media that these breakfast clubs were popping up all over the country. The first one was set up in Hull about 3 years ago by Derek Hardman, and I basically just kept an eye on things, and I got an interest in it, and they encouraged me to set up our own club here in Dorset. So I went for it. I advertised on Facebook media to get some interest from other veterans. It went from 2 or 3 veterans showing interest to where we are at the minute with 79 members.
Serious? That's amazing.
Sure, yeah.
That's really good going. Cyril, talk to me a bit about what it means to you, because clearly you're attending these meetings and your war record is going back over 70 years now. So what does it mean to you to go to something like this?
Well, it's a comradeship, and also they gave me one wonderful 92nd birthday party, which I didn't know anything about.
Really?
And, well, they just help you in different ways, you know. It's a good organisation.
Well, that's really good to hear. Charles, I would have thought that people like Cyril, they would have had time to I don't know, revolve back into Civvy Street. Is that not the case? Is there something that is always going to be a challenge about day-to-day life when you've served in the military?
Sure, yeah. It is very, very difficult to readjust into civilian life.
Because you served yourself?
I did, yes, yeah. All the members that are with us have served in one force or another. We go right through from the Army, Navy and onto the Air Force. So there's a batch of us all there. But yeah, we've all served. Very difficult to go back into civilian life, more so these days, because young soldiers join at 17. So when they do come out after a long service or even a short service of 4 to 5 years, they're coming into unknown territory. They don't know how to budget. They don't know how to approach organisations for social housing, for medical and that. It's a bit of a blind spot because everything is taken care of when you're within the forces. You're fed, you're clothed, you're bedded down, you're looked after, all your needs are looked after. So when you walk back into civilian life, very, very difficult in some cases.
Yeah. Cyril, I was reading a little bit about your story about the Battle of the Bulge in 1944, and I think you left for Belgium and you got married very soon before that. And am I right in saying you didn't see your wife then?
11 months.
11 months. So
yeah.
there are always elements of military life that are going to be challenging, things you wouldn't necessarily have thought of.
No, and also it was the best thing I ever did come into Weymouth, because through it pouring with rain, I went to the Odeon Cinema and chatted up the usherette, who turned out to be my wife in 1944.
Right. So on a rainy day in Weymouth, if you can get to the cinema, you never know. You never know what you might find there. Amazing.
Because in them days, to be honest with you, it was hard to get a date with an English girl because the place was surrounded with Americans.
Right, and there was that attraction of the other. I mean, you must have seen some changes. Have there been things like this in the years intervening? So obviously, am I right in saying you served until sort of the late 1940s?
42, yeah.
No, when you finished.
Oh, I finished in 47.
47, yeah. So, in the intervening then, almost 70 years since you left the military, have there been other bits of support like this?
I did have a trip to Belgium in 2011.
Really?
And it was sponsored by the lottery. And I went to Brussels on the Eurostar with my granddaughter and her partner. Went to Brussels, and then from Brussels I went down the Ardennes to find out where I was before we went to the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
And they took me all around there, met the mayor, and the mayor made me an honorary citizen of Jadoin.
Very nice.
That's where we were stationed. And then, of course, after that we went back to Belgium, to Holland, and went over the Rhine into Germany.
Do you know, the thing about this show is I feel like I am constantly meeting people who make me reappraise my position on growing older. I can't believe that Cyril's sat here. And are you 92 now?
92, I'll be 93 next January.
You look fighting fit. I wonder if there might be a division that would still take you in these days. Charles, what about, so 79 members now for the Breakfast
79 members
Club.
At the moment,
Are you still looking for people to come and get involved?
We were always anxious for any veteran to call, have a breakfast. There's no membership fees, no subs. Come along, have a bit of a crack. Talk like we used to talk when we were in the services.
Right,
that's a language.
Colourful.
That's a language.
I'm glad you haven't used any of that in this studio this morning.
No, we're keeping quite good. But speaking about Cyril again, when he left the services, he went straight into the MOD police, and he'd served there.
No, I went on the building first.
And then the MOD police on Portland.
Defence Police in Portland.
So his service continued right through to pretty much in the
1984, I retired.
Right. And when we had the celebration dinner for Cyril last Christmas, only a few months back, we were well supported by local charities in Weymouth. The main one being the Rotary Club of Weymouth. Yeah. They forked out a lot of money for us to celebrate Cyril. And SAFA as well came to our aid. And they sent actually two senior NCOs up from the Welsh Guards to represent them, and they honoured Cyril by giving him a miniature, what we call their colours, which is all their war battles over the years, and they presented that to Cyril, and we had a fantastic evening.
Well, look, I hope they step it up for the 93rd birthday.
I'm sure,
yeah. Very lovely to meet you both this morning. Thank you very much for coming in. If you want to find out a bit more about the Dorset Veterans Breakfast Club, you can contact us. We can pass on Charles's details. But Charles Gills, who founded that Veterans Breakfast Club, and Cyril Gill, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
No problem. Bye now.
BBC Radio Solent Travel.
Time for an update on the roads now from Charlotte.